Thank you, Johan and Faisal, and a special kudos and thanks to His Royal Highness Prince Sultan bin Fahd bin Salman for an opportunity to congratulate the alumni and the graduates of the LBS school. And I look forward to having with you a dialogue. And if you ask me, the essence of leadership, and especially during tough times, is really about navigating through uncertainty. And that navigation through uncertainty leads us to two groups. So there's a group of people that would look for the dream, and then the people to realize that dream, and then the other guys and ladies that will look for a leader to realize a dream. So whether you are in one fence or another, ultimately it boils down to the essence of leadership, which is navigating through tough times. And if I go through the different crises that was a humbling and a learning experience, and I have to admit, as a leader and as an aspiring leader, ultimately the learning curve never ends. And the moment you decide that your learning curve is hitting stagnation, I think that's the moment for you as a leader and an aspiring leader to hand over the torch. And that's the leadership commitment. Because genuinely, it's the journey of always acquiring knowledge, building confidence, and taking risk. So let's boil down to what is leadership during tough time. And if you can look at the slide, I humbly summarize it into the 5 C's, which I will articulate shortly. And the 5 C's are clarity, your ability to have clarity in vision and execution, specifically during tough times. The second is for you to have the courage, because the worst thing you could have in a time of crisis is an indecisive leader and dwelling over some of the tough decisions that you have to make. Third, it's about the collaboration. And what do I mean by collaboration? Is really sticking together with your people, with your partners, and with your customers. I'll share with you also some few examples on that front. Fourthly is about communication and over communication. And if I would argue out of the 5, my number 1 priority in terms of crisis is your ability to articulate and to communicate. Where do we stand? What's happening within the market that we operate in, or the context that you operate in? How much of the challenges that you see are market or self-inflicted? And then we move on to the culture. And really culture, there's a saying, that culture eats strategy for breakfast. And I think during tough times, it's clarity above all combined with communication. And it's that number of shared values that helps you stick together and glue together. And that's your true test of leadership, because it's your ability to show how trustworthy you are. And your credibility as a leader is very important. COVID-19 made it clear to everybody else. The world today is changing so fast. The rate of change is so big. Why would you expect that your strategies to be so static when the whole world is so dynamic? So let's go back to 2000, where the market dynamics taught me a hard lesson that sometimes you need to follow where the market dictates on you where to go. And that's the ability to have clarity for yourself as an aspiring leader or as a seasoned leader, of being able to call out the market transitions. And I remember at that time, those companies that were operating, for example, in the hardware business, their market capitalization was slashed by 50%. And as a matter of fact, 50% of these companies went bust. And that was, to me, an opportunity to shift gears and that have clarity into compass, that if I don't invest into my ability to appreciate software, security, and services, I'm going to be obsolete for the 21st century, moving on from the 20th century. And during that time, as an aspiring engineer, I made a distinct decision, along with some of my few colleagues and mentors that coached me during this time, to invest heavily into a software and into a services play. And that helped me land some of the few jobs and opportunities that helped me groom as an aspiring leader, which until this day I am, because as we have articulated, the learning journey never ends. So in 2008, although the kingdom was very blessed, and we're still very blessed, that the underlying fundamentals of our policies and our fiscal position have always helped us weather through more major crises. So the most major crises, we've weathered through them, the 2008, the 16, and right now COVID-19. As you can see within the kingdom, I remember some of the major markets and the major key accounts for me during my time at the business sector were dialing down their business. We're doing a restructuring. And if we go to the courage piece of managing through a crisis, we made at that time a distinct decision to stay closer to our people and, more importantly, to our customers. So while my competitors decided at that time to shift gear from focusing on the major accounts in healthcare, education, and defense, we made a distinct decision, I remember in 2008, by saying that these are major opportunities that they're going to bounce back. And the moment they bounce back, we know that we want to be at the forefront of doing business with them. And it's that test of credibility during this tough time that paid dividends. So we decided that there are 52 weeks within the year. And I remember distinctly because I was leading that project among my peers at that time. We said we're going to meet that client 52 times a year in which we're going to invest into innovation transfer, technology transfer, knowledge transfer. And we did that free of charge for the duration of 2008 to some of the major accounts. That the lion's share was with our competitors, but our competitors have shifted gear, so their clarity and their courage to do the right thing was a bit, clouded. And the result in 2009 was phenomenal. Our peers in the market at that time, they bounced back in single digits. We did not only bounce back in double digits growth, but in triple digits growth. These stories of how clarity, how communication, how courage, and how culture are the same things that you have to employ in COVID-19. So His Majesty the King and His Royal Highness the Crown Prince made it very clear that we're going to put our people first. And as just two proof points of putting people first, the first thing that we have done was introduce a stimulus package. And secondly, for our people who are living abroad, whether studying or working, we made sure that they stay in 5-star hotels, 4-star hotels, coming back to the nation. The second decision, we have doubled down on healthcare. The amount of money and the amount of focus and investment. So for us, it wasn't a question that this is a financial or economic crisis. Our priority, if we don't look after our people and put people first, it's not going to happen. People are going to test you through tough times on your credibility and trustworthiness, and you have to walk the talk. And I'm very proud and a huge call out to the 275,000 leaders that are helping me within this sector in the public domain, private, and the not-for-profit. Fast forward to today, we become number 10 in terms of the internet speed ranking globally. We jumped in the last UN e-government index 40 ranks as a byproduct of this investment and this energy of revamping our digital infrastructure. We became number 13 in digital talent by investing into talents and programmers that helped us in 4 to 6 weeks develop apps that helped us with AI and data. The base economy was growing by 3%, and we grew by 6% from a non-oil GDP perspective. And I look forward to seeing all of you succeed and flourish in whatever the journey takes you. And God bless you and stay safe.